Hello YouTubers, this is your man Brooksy here, your movie buff, telling you what movies and TV show you should be watching right now. And I have to say the TV show you guys should absolutely watch is Cobra Kai, and especially the new season, season 5. Oh my god, man. I don't know how they did it, but once again, I got completely hooked. Even after watching the first episode, like, it was so good. I mean, the whole, Miguel trying to figure out his family, trying to look for his dad, and then Robbie and Johnny finally patching things up. And then you got Terry Silver, trying to control not only the whole valley, but the whole world with taking over, the whole karate world. And then he has a bunch of Cobra Kai's minions, so it's like, oh my god, he's become Lord Vader, man, or like Darth Sidious. It's like really amazing. And then Chosen becoming like the glue to hold the LaRusso family together. So you see a lot of those, like, those like family morals and, like, right and wrong. And then Kreese still being the way he is. You think he's like changed, but then you're like, wait a minute, has he really changed, or is he still his like sneaky and cowardice ways? And then you got Silver, who pretty much embraces his true self and completely gets rid of Kreese, who was his weakness, which is true, and becomes pretty much the ultimate badass of karate supervillains. And somehow he not only he somehow completely destroys Daniel's whole life. So it's like, oh, it's so good. And then you get to see Mike fucking Barnes, return on the small screen. And it's kind of bittersweet that you see that he actually turned his life around, and he has a family, and he owns his own business. So he kind of went where Daniel went, which is kind of amazing. And you'll see a little bit more of him throughout the season, but seeing Daniel and Johnny and and Chosen team up to fight Silver, it's like really amazing. It's like, watching like the karate Avengers, taking on Ultron, or Thanos, it was pretty amazing to see. And then you still have the whole love triangle with Robbie and Tori, and then you got Miguel and Sam, and they're still trying to figure them out. But even though they still love each other, but also they also still love Miguel and Robbie as well. So it's kind of like, a whole like back from the past, with like, oh yeah, Johnny's in love with what's her name? The whole relationship with like Daniel and Johnny, and then their ex-girlfriend. So it's like, oh, it's like history almost repeating itself. So it's like, so it's kind of like amazing how like the whole premise of Cobra Kai is pretty much history repeating itself, but people from the past are trying to change, and then people who were from the originals are like still in their ways, but I love how like Johnny's trying to be a better man and trying to like do the right thing, and he's still doing it, he's still trying. And Daniel, he still wants to set things right, and he's willing to work with his past rivals to team up against Silver, So it's pretty awesome to see, and then you see somebody from Karate Kid 3, like you see, which I was surprised how they pulled that off, and they kind of bring her in and relate it to somebody that Daniel knows in his family. So it's like, oh, that's how that works. So it's like, oh, that's amazing. When you see her, you're like, what the hell? She's in this? No shit. Oh crap. It's like pretty awesome, so. And then, you have Daniel's son trying to, be the man of the house and trying to not be a bully anymore. And then you still have Robbie's mentee, still being like you know, evil, still being a bully, even though he was bullied. But now, you know, he's trying to like figure himself out and see whether he could, you know, be the good person that we all know, but he's still got but Silver still has his claws into him. So it's like, oh. And then you have like, Hawk, you know, like still the badass and still like, you know, finally coming to terms with who he is, you know, and like he and Moon are working things out. And then you have Miguel's best friend, you know, who's actually becoming quite the martial artist, you know, which is amazing actually, because in the first couple of seasons he's actually a wimp, you know, and he's like, you know, I'm not gonna fight, I'm a pacifist, you know, but now he's like kicking ass, and he beat the crap out of his bully. So it's like, yeah, awesome awesome Karate Kid reference, you know. The nerd kicks the bully's ass once again. So I highly recommend watching Cobra Kai season 5. You're not gonna regret it. You're gonna fall in love with it, and then you're gonna see a bunch of like 80s movies references, which is complete awesome. And you're gonna see a new edition with Johnny and Miguel's mom. So definitely stay tuned for that, and it's only gonna keep getting better, and I cannot wait for season 6. So peace.